These are stressful times for lots of young children. They're stuck indoors, they're not seeing their friends, and they're trying to do work at home that they've probably never done before, and they're trying to learn in ways that they haven't done ever in their lives before. One of the things that I think can really help at the moment is getting a little bit of mindfulness into your online learning. One of the beauties of mindfulness games is they only last about 30 seconds or a minute. So if you're teaching phonics, you can just throw in a quick breathing game, for example, just for 30 seconds, just to calm everyone down, get everyone back and, refreshed and ready to learn. Mindfulness games are super easy as well. You need almost no resources at all. All the game's going to show you have no resources in them at all. It's just a case of you turn Zoom on and you can just play these games super simply with all the children that you're working with. So let's take a look at 8 fantastic mindfulness Zoom games. Activity 1 is raining on my head. This is kind of like a self-massage and also a visualization as well. What you do, you get the children to imagine that it's starting to rain and ideally close their eyes. And what they do, their fingers are going to be like the rain, this kind of pitter-patter motion. And just tell them, imagine the rain is starting to land on your head. And get them to do a kind of pitter-patter thing on their head. It's going down your forehead. It's going over your face. The rain is landing on your shoulders. It's going down your arms and all this kind of stuff. Go down the bodies, down the legs to the feet. All this kind of thing. I just tell them to imagine that, you can feel yourself really wet or there's water dripping down off your hair, all that kind of thing. It's just a great one for visualizing, but also that kind of self-massage as well. Hand massages as well are very, very simple to do. Most young children can have a go of them, and they're great for just stress relief and just a simple break in whatever they're doing. Here's some simple hand massages. Another good one is just shaking your hands like this, letting your fingers go all floppy, and shaking away all your stress. Another one is using circles. Good one is get your thumb and you just do a circle in the palm of your hand. Using your fingers as well, another circle one. Fingers and just do a circle on the back of your hand. Next one is pressure points. You might have seen people doing a bit of this kind of stuff when they're really stressed, and that kind of thing can work quite well for young children as long as you do it in a really simple way. Probably the easiest pressure point you can find is situated in between your 2 eyebrows at the front. And you just put your index finger on it, and just a simple rotation like this on the pressure point. Apparently is good for relieving stress. Another good one is in the webbing of your hand as well, in between the index finger and your thumb. And if you put your index finger in there and just circle it round, another great pressure point for stress relief. Now for some breathing games. Breathing is a huge deal in mindfulness. It's the quickest way of calming us down. It lowers our heart rate and it releases positive chemicals into our blood and into our brains and just relaxes everything, which is a kind of a great thing. Here are some simple breathing games. Number 1 is the Bumblebee game. The idea of this, you pretend to be a bumblebee. You're going to breathe in through your nose silently, and then when you breathe out, you're going to hum like a bumblebee, a bit like a bit like that. It's quite a sort of relaxing feeling in your throat and in your mouth. If you put your hands over your ears as well, you can really hear the hum vibrating through the bones in your head. It's just a nice one for controlling your breathing, and fun games are great for breathing games for children. Number 5 is breathe out colours. The idea of this is you imagine some kind of colour that's going to make you happy. Something like yellow is a classic one, but it can be whatever the children want it to be. What they're going to do, they're going to breathe in deeply and then breathe out. And just tell them, when they breathe out, they're going to imagine the colour they think of is going to come out of their mouths and fill the room. A bit like, I'm going to imagine yellow. You just imagine yellow filling the room. And breathe out in and out again, breathe out, and more of the colour fills the room until it's full of the beautiful colour you imagine. Great if you do it with your eyes closed, and just a simple game to do on Zoom, quick, 30 seconds or a minute, great for focusing them, and great just for relaxing everyone. Another good one is the Take 5 game. The idea of this, you get them to show you their hand like this, and you get your index finger, and you go up your thumb and down the other side. Then up the index finger and down the other side. As you do that, you breathe as well. So as you go up one finger, you breathe in. And then you breathe out as you go down. Breathe in. Breathe out. And you keep doing that, up and down the fingers a great way of focusing their minds on one thing. It's good for all that mindfulness thing and training the brain, as well as all the deep breathing. It's good for calming them down. Number 7 is just a quick bit of yoga. This is a very simple yoga move that's really child friendly. It's a very simple tree pose. What you do, get them to stand up, and then it's a bit of a visualization mixed with yoga. You're going to tell them to imagine they're turning into a tree. You know, they can feel their bodies turning to bark. They can feel branches growing up out of their arms, and they feel leaves growing up. Get them to close their eyes, and then you take them on a bit of an imaginative journey. Get them to imagine the wind is blowing. They can feel the wind flowing through the trees. Maybe it starts to rain. Then there's a storm, and the branches are swaying from side to side. All that kind of thing. Just an imaginative story, simple yoga pose. Just a great thing to do for a minute, just to break up whatever else you're doing on Zoom. Next game is melting moments. The idea of this is the children are going to pretend they are something that melts. So get them to stand up, and something like a bar of chocolate is a good one, or a snowman. Let's pretend it's a snowman. So they're standing up, they're imagining they're a snowman, and get them to really visualize it, get them to feel how they're made of snow. They've got a carrot nose, they're really, really cold. But then the hot sun is coming out, it's going to melt the snowman. And just tell them they can feel themselves starting to melt. The head is getting smaller, the body is starting to shrink. And get them just to kind of start shrinking towards the floor. They start getting smaller and smaller as they melt and melt. And in the end, they'll all be just lying on the floor, a pool of water steaming in the sun. These are really stressful times for everyone, particularly young children trying to learn at home on Zoom or whatever it is. And the more mindfulness and well-being you can get into your learning experiences, the better. Just ways of calming them down, reducing anxiety, and just little breaks for them in their learning where they can just recharge. If you found this video useful, then please do like it, and also consider subscribing to our channel. I do lots of free content like this every week, lots of top tips for teachers, parents, anyone that works with children between the ages of about 3 to 7. So yeah, subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks so much for watching, good luck with those mindfulness games, and I'll see you next time.